According to a 2023 Forbes survey, over 70% of employees now actually fantasize about quitting their 9 to 5 jobs to go work for themselves. But why is this happening? Why is the great resignation so prominent right now? And I think the number one reason is we all want control. When you look at a traditional job, your time is literally owned by your boss, your calendar, and your company's priorities. And as Daniel Pink, who is the author of Drive, puts it, autonomy, it is one of the core 3 ingredients for motivation. And fantasizing about self-employment is really our brain just screaming for autonomy and freedom, because we want to be able to work when we're most focused. We want to be able to say no without the guilt, and ideally it would be really nice if we can structure our day around our energy, endless office politics. I'm Annie, I'm a brand and web designer and founder of MP Studio, and I left my 9 to 5 over 4 years ago, and last year I made over $132,000, which is over double my previous salary as a designer working for someone else and pretty much doing the same thing, which led me to reason number 2, why self-employment, that fantasy, is actually very real, because we want to be rewarded for results and not just time. A salary, it's predictable, it feels comforting, but after COVID, you can see so many people are doing layoffs, and the salary, it's capped, and it's also not as predictable. You can be let go anytime. You could double your output and still literally make the exact same paycheck. Freelancing, however, and starting your own business, it shifts the game because you're no longer getting paid for hours and you're paid for impact and results. And that's why creators, consultants, designers, and developers, the risk is worthwhile, because one good project can be worth more than a month worth of full-time work or even more. And I got the courage to pursue brand and web design full-time when I landed my first big client, who paid me, guess how much? $15,000 for the brand transformation alone. And it's not like magic or miracles or chance. I bought so many courses on brand positioning, on pricing, on sales, and I brought it all together and made it happen. But I know it's really intimidating. It was for me as well. It's a matter of finding the right people, selling yourself to the right people who can actually afford you and who need and appreciate your services. We'll dive into it later on, but if you want to learn exactly how I did that, how I went from clients that paid me literally hundreds of dollars to the low thousands to then 15K, then I want to actually share with you my upcoming 10K month masterclass. If you have no clue how to package your offer, where to find high paying clients, how to price your services, then this one is literally for you. Scan the QR code on the left or follow the link in the description below, and I'd love to see you there. Reason number 3 why we fantasize about leaving a 9 to 5 is because we want to escape meaningless work. Most jobs include tasks that don't really matter, meetings that feel like a waste of time, and rules that kind of just make no sense. And just like what Adam Grant, who's an organizational psychologist, said, people want jobs that are meaningful and not just tolerable. I think especially Gen Zs, millennials, we are all told that we can be whatever we want when we grow up, but reality kind of hits us and everything feels so mundane. And when you dream about working for yourself, you're really imagining a world where you get to do what matters to you and skip the rest. That sounds good. Reason number 4 why we want to escape our 9 to 5 and why it's worthwhile is the ownership that comes with it. We want ownership, not in just a legal sense, but emotional ownership. When you freelance or build a solid business, the wins are yours. Of course, the failures are yours too. The tax you need to pay, that's all yours. But every improvement directly benefits you as a human being, and you stop being a cog in this big machine of a corporate company, and you start being the builder. And every single brick you lay is for your future, and that's an investment, and that shift is pretty addicting as well. And reason number 5 is we want something more. We want purpose at the end of the day. Psychologically, it makes a lot of sense because once our basic needs are met, our brain starts to crave and search and desire something more meaningful. In Maslow's hierarchy of needs, if you know that pyramid, the top level is self-actualization, the desire to become the most fully expressed version of yourself. And that's why a lot of us, we want to pursue a more creative career path. Working for yourself feels like a shortcut to do that. And when you say, I work in marketing, it's very different than saying, I run a creative studio, or I help founders build brands that sell. And it's that identity that you get to bring into your work that changes everything. Self-employment, I've learned that it's not just changing how you earn money, it's changing how you see yourself and how you feel about yourself and the confidence that it brings you as well. And the fantasy, it's not really about never working again, because if you really think about it, if you have like a whole year to not do anything, it would be pretty boring. It's about doing work that feels like you. It's about doing work that energizes you and makes you want to get out of bed in the morning. Reason number 6, we want flexibility without asking for permission. If you want to take a random Tuesday off, right now you probably can't if you're stuck in a 9 to 5. If you want to go work from Spain the next month, HR would probably say no. You only have a dedicated maybe 4 weeks of leave in typical 9 to 5s. And if you just need to take a break because you feel overworked, sometimes you have to force yourself to push through because, I can get through it. I prefer not to, but I only have so much leave. I don't want to waste it on just feeling bad. And that really sucks. Traditional jobs, it demands a lot from you. It demands predictability from you. But self-employment, it allows for the personal rhythm to come through. And that doesn't mean it's easier, but at least your time and your life is yours to shape. And finally, we want to escape that someday trap. Maybe the biggest fantasy is not about freedom. It's about finally doing the things that you keep postponing and not having regrets later on. Channel that you never started, that service you know people would pay for, that vision that you keep thinking and journaling about, but you never touched and you never taken steps to actually realize. Working for yourself feels like the only path where someday becomes today. And that's why we look at a lot of successful entrepreneurs online and we really admire what they've built for themselves. It becomes a legacy. If you want to learn the step-by-step of turning your passion and your skills into a thriving business that actually makes you a lot of money, then check out the 10K month masterclass. Scan the QR code right here on the left. I'm telling you that this is all very possible. It's not a pipe dream. People have done this for themselves and it's not that hard. You just need to know the right steps. If you enjoyed this video, I know you're also going to love this one on the left right here. We also have a podcast called the Brand Creator Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in with me today, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.